Hey everybody, this is Michael Gabriel, and you're watching CMS TV.
Let's welcome Sean to the show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you guys? Getting ready for a revolution, huh?
You are. I am, no doubt. I'm fed up. I don't know, which side you lean to, but I'm a little bit disturbed by the way the country is going at this point.
Oh yeah, we're fucked. We're stupid people.
Amen, man.
I agree with that.
Well, at least until we are eventually run over by all this, we've got your great band, the Four Horsemen, man. I'm just going to tell you straight up to start, man. I have seen 8 zillion Metallica tribute bands, including yours. I have seen your band before. And you guys are by far the best. And that's not just an ass kiss. That is the truth, man. You guys, everybody else can play the songs, but you guys play them like you wrote the songs, man. And there is a difference.
There's a huge difference. I appreciate that. We live the material, though. Like every week we're playing this stuff 2 to 4 times a week. And, I do get people who, well, my buddy's in a Metallica tribute and they're about as good as you guys. And I'm like, okay, opinions are like assholes. And, I realize I'm like, well, you're not going to change anybody's mind. So I try to just be, politically correct. I hate to, not trying to bring
don't need to be here.
No, yeah, don't worry about that here.
Yeah, but it's like, I watch the videos. I've scene. I filled in, and for one of those bands, and it was just like, this is atrocious. And I feel like, look, here's my take on it. And if you've seen the promo video, this is what I've said for years.
Sure.
People work all week. They want to go out and be entertained. And I feel like a lot of these bands, not just tributes, there's a lot of cover bands out there that just barely get through the songs. They're not energetic. They're not engaging with the people that they're playing to. And I really feel like, you don't deserve their time. You have to earn those fans' time. Money can always be remade. You cannot get your time back for a disappointing experience. So if you go out to see a show, I don't care whose show it is. I don't care if it's a real Metallica or Aerosmith, AC/DC, whoever.
Sure.
You should come out of that saying, wow, man, I'm so glad I didn't miss that show. What a great experience that was. So that's the kind of motto or embodiment of what I wake up and do every day. Is like, it has to be something that people want to come back and see, or at least if they saw it once and walk away from it and just say, fuck, man, I did not expect that. That was awesome. I had a great time.
How did you get into the Metallica thing to begin with?
I was actually singing in an Alice in Chains tribute, and the bass player that had auditioned for that band was in this Metallica tribute.
Okay.
Years ago. I think it was like 2005 or 2004. We were playing an Alice in Chains band for like 3 years, and Chris has known me since I was in Antithesis back in my early days. And so, it was like right after the third album of Antithesis, we weren't really, it just wasn't happening for us. I think we were a little too left field for everybody. It was too proggy and stuff, and people didn't latch on to it the way we were hoping. So, I mean, that band fizzled out, and I still just wanted to do something. So I loved Alice in Chains, and I started singing in that tribute. Bass player auditioned. He told us, my Metallica band is my priority. So if it conflicts, I'm doing the Metallica show. So I was like, whatever, we're not looking to play but a few shows anyway. They lost their front man. Long story short, I won't get into why. He had some personal demons to take care of. And when he got done with those demons, he decided that he was not going to be involved in the bar scene anymore. So he left the band. They asked me, can you play guitar? And I said, well, yeah, I used to be in Antithesis. And one guy shit himself and was like, oh my God, I have all your albums. You can still play like that. I'm like, no, that was extreme. And, Tall Paul was a very gifted guitar player, and he really pushed the limits of my playing. So sure. I was like, I really don't want to play like I'm cramming for a college exam anymore. I just want to play because I love to play. But so they said, can you learn some songs? I said, yeah, give me 3 weeks. Give me your entire set list. I already love Metallica. I love Megadeth and stuff. So I know some of it already. So I went through that stuff, came out and auditioned, and, they were floored. And I told them, I said, look, I come from a serious music background. My father was a great drummer and singer, and everything I do, my dad said, don't ever half-ass it. We give it everything you got. Be right serious about your craft, and, and people will respect that. So when I got into that band, it was the typical Metallica band. They were not phenomenal players. And I just said, look, if you want me in the band, you've got to try and do these things as best you possibly can, or I'm not going to be interested. So we went down that path, and, heads butted. And after a while, I started taking over booking shows and whatnot. And everybody was in multiple bands except me. The only band I was in was this one. And I just said, I want to be serious about it. I think we could do something with it. So, one thing led to another. Decisions were made, and people were replaced. And so 2 or 3 lineups now, and here we are traveling most of the country. Our manager is Brian Wheat from Tesla now.
Right.
I've got a publicist. I've got a social media company. It's growing at an incredible rate. Next week we're doing an 11-day run. We're going to be out in Nebraska, South Dakota, back to Columbus, Ohio, then out to Wayland, New York. We're doing 2 days in Sturgis this year. So it's really, it's just an embodiment of what I wanted, what I envisioned years ago. It's been like 18 and a half years I've been pushing this band. And,
right.
There's a lot of people that do not like me. There's a lot of people in Cleveland and Akron that fucking despise me, to be honest with you. But I mean, I don't give a shit. It's like,
right.
You get a big target on your back when you get successful.
Right.
I tell you this, though, Brian has done his homework on us.
Sure.
Brian is friends with James, Lars, and Kirk since he was 22 years old. Lars was in his wedding. He knows these guys, and he brought our band to their attention. Adam Kornfeld, their agent, knows who we are. He loves the band. Their day-to-day manager, Tony DiCiaccio, knows who we are, loves the band. And so it's like, at least they're not coming to me saying, you're done.
Right.
No more of this shit. So I'm very happy that Metallica is just letting us do what we do. And we're just carrying the torch of the old stuff anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm turning little kids onto Metallica.
Right.
I can't tell you how many people are like, do you guys have albums out? I'm like, yes, we do. There's a bunch. They're at Walmart under the M section. It's called Metallica.
Right.
It's just amazing to me. It's like, why do you want me to? It's already been done, and it'll never be done better than what they did. We're just trying to carry the torch and bring, this music the justice it deserves. And I just, I used to go and watch. In particular, there was one Metallica tribute that I used to go watch when I was in Antithesis, because I just loved Metallica. I didn't have a lot of money. You know how it is when you're writing your own music. Nobody came to our shows. So I loved the whole concept of being able to see somebody play Battery and Blackened and stuff like that. And then after seeing some lineup changes with this one particular Metallica tribute, everything went downhill, and it was sloppy and everything. All of these bands, I just go out and I watch their videos. I'm like, why would people go waste their time on this? I don't understand. So I think, I'm not going to sit here and rip on anybody. I think it's the fans' responsibility to tell the band by not buying a ticket,
right?
Not by going and ripping on them. You don't have to rip on them. A lot of these people are nice people, but as a band, it's not good. Sure. So I think the fans should vote with their wallets. Do your homework. Mm-hmm. If you go to a show and you don't think it's good, don't go back.
Right.
There is an alternative out there, and it's called the Four Horsemen.
There you
or
go.
Metallica.
Yeah, exactly. Well, dude, we get so many people complain about ticket prices. And I will say, I went and saw Metallica, the last 2 times I've seen them, once in Detroit here in November. And then before that was, I guess, right before the pandemic when they played at Rocket Mortgage. And, each time tickets were very expensive. I got lucky with the Metallica Pantera tickets, and I bought them with a pre-sale and everything else, and I lucked out into like $120 for mid-level, not the best seats, but the Rocket Mortgage, I paid $400 a ticket to get terrible tickets, and they weren't very good. For your band, for the Four Horsemen, does the fact that the tickets are so expensive now for most people, does that benefit a band like yours? Because you come in, you play the songs extremely well and extremely true to their sound, which is what people want anyway, and you don't come with the $400 a ticket price tag.
No, but we do get people bitching that they have to pay sometimes 30, 40, 50 bucks. I just tell them, look, I don't, they get mad at me. Like particularly, I get, people sending me messages and saying, you guys think you're like as good as Metallica, you're charging all this money. It's like, I don't set the ticket price. I just play the show, and I had nothing to do with it. But I don't know if it benefits us as much as maybe people might think. But yeah, I mean, you're right. The ticket prices are insane. And I'm one of these guys. I'm against Ticketmaster with all the bullshit fees.
Yeah,
it's garbage, because I took my father before my dad passed away last year. I took him to see the Eagles at Quicken Loans Arena or whatever the hell they call it these days. And it was $1,804 for 2 tickets.
Oh.
And we were nowhere near the stage. We had to watch the big Jumbotron the entire
Right.
time because, they're so small on stage. It was a phenomenal concert. But should we have paid $902 per ticket with
No.
$200 of that being a Ticketmaster fee per ticket?
Yeah.
No. Hell
Crazy.
no. The tickets were $700. By the time I bought them, they were $1,804. And I'm like, how the hell are you charging $200? I'm in IT. I think you're in the
I'm in
IT
IT,
stuff
yeah.
too. That's automated software. There's no person
there's
behind that doing that.
Yeah.
But
there's no convenience to it.
no, it's like no one's emailing or even mailing you a ticket anymore. So there's no human involvement in that, but you're going to charge based on the ticket price that, whatever you have to pay the Eagles. And I think it was Steve Miller, supposed to be Steely Dan, but whatever they're asking, yeah, you have to base your ticket prices to make money and whatnot. But what the hell's with these processing fees? This software was built, it was paid for years ago, and yet you're charging these insane processing fees. So yeah, I'm totally against the whole Ticketmaster thing. I don't know if it's going to get me in trouble or not, but I tell venues, don't use them. There's web tickets, there's C tickets, there's all kinds of other Eventbrite. Use these other freaking places because Ticketmaster, they're gouging people. And people, look at right now, the economy sucks.
Yeah.
It's sucked for years now. And people's hard-earned money is getting flushed down the toilet to some greedy, CEO somewhere that's making a bunch of money off of them.
And that's the big issue. It doesn't go to you.
No,
none
of the bands see that. I mean, we see ticket fees as well on our ticket fee. I don't get that, and a lot of times we just get a fee and the venue makes what they make, and then the ticketing place makes whatever their processing fees are too. So it's like, well, I'm not doing that. That I have nothing to do with that. And believe me, I look at our prices. Some of these markets like New York and New Hampshire, the ticket prices, average ticket price is like $50 for any show, depending on the venue that you go to. Sometimes it's even more than that. So it's not, I don't set the prices.
No. Dude, $40-$50 for a band that does it on a quality level is not bad. I mean, there's that band, what is it, Friends of Leonid or whatever it is, that does Chicago. They travel around.
Great.
They're better than Chicago.
Great band. I love Chicago too, and I've watched their videos. They're damn good.
They're unbelievably good, but their tickets when they play here at the Roxino or whatever, about $80, $90 a ticket. But I've said this all the time, and it goes to you're paying for a great event, whatever the great event is. And you know what? Honestly, I'd rather see you guys playing in the 1988, 89 form of Metallica than Metallica today. And Metallica is arguably my one or two favorite band of all time. So I'm with you on the Metallica love, but they don't play it as well as they used to in 1988 or 89. And you guys do. You guys, it seems like, and tell me if I'm wrong, but it seems like you guys study to be not just a Metallica tribute, but a tribute to And Justice for All and Kill 'Em All. More a tribute to the records than a tribute to the band.
Yes, you're exactly right when you say that, because I am an asshole. Anybody will tell you that has dealt with me in the past, I'm very picky. I'm hard to get along with. If you're not doing it to the best of your ability, I'm the first one to notice. It's a love, okay? And people, I'll tell you why. Like back, I had a horrible childhood, horrible, abusive, mentally, physically. I ran away when I was 14. The only thing that kept me sane, because it was like suicide was like, that was my out. Like I kept telling myself, fuck this. What's the point?
Right.
No one wants me. And music came to my rescue. So like Metallica, for instance, people don't know this about me, it's not like I'm on, woe is me. This is not a woe is me story at all. This is a success story, if anything. I hated my life so bad that I used to listen to Metallica lyrics, especially Fade to Black, and I would draw pictures. And I still have these pictures of getting shot in the chest with a shotgun hanging myself with a rope, stabbing myself with a knife, and there's fade to black lyrics all over those drawings on that one page because I was just so depressed with my life. I just didn't want to be alive anymore. So when people are like, well, you know, I'm in a Metallica tribute and I listen to them play and I'm like, you are disrespecting this music so bad that it angers me when I hear people playing it sloppy because it was the only thing that kept me alive as a kid was listening to Metallica and AC/DC, you know, just the fight songs of my life, you know, even Hell's Bells. I was going through the lyrics of that. And I used to draw pictures of myself walking through the rain and the lightning coming down, white lightning's flashing across the sky. And I'm like, yeah, you're only young, but you're going to die. That was the lyric that sung to me because it was like I just didn't want to be on this earth anymore when I was, you know, 13, 14 years old. So those songs are part of me. It's in my blood. So when I'm being a stickler and I'm being picky and I'm being kind of hard on the guys, I've been hard on everybody in the band. It's like, play it fucking right.
Yeah.
The two guys that I have in the band now that are young, the bass player and lead guitar player, they don't understand it to the way that me and my drummer do. Me and my drummer's lives work very hard and we both latched onto music and he gets it just like I do. The kids, they, you know, they're 28. I'm 49.
Right.
You know, I'm old enough to be their dad. So when I talk with them about stuff, you know, sometimes they'll embellish a little bit. And I'm like, ask me about it. Because if it doesn't fit the way I want it to fit in the show, don't do it.
Right.
So that is why I think when it comes to us, you're not going to find another band that calls themselves a Metallica tribute. Do it to our level because I bleed this music. I wake up thinking, what can I do to do a better show? How can I get more gigs for the band? I quit my IT. I was making oodles of money sitting on my ass, fixing servers and setting up Microsoft domain networks. I gave all that up to do music where I make a lot less money and I drive a lot more hours than I do anything other. People are like, oh man, you live the rock star lifestyle. I'm like, no, I live in a van. I drive for 12 hours. I play on the stage for 100, maybe 120 minutes and I'm done. And then it's 8 hours to the next show. I live in a van. That's what I do. And I drive.
That's what I was going to ask you about is, you know, the rock star lifestyle a little bit. And, you know, what's the groupie situation? Is it, I mean, again,
I'll tell you.
When we talk to bands, I'm always, I want to know, like, what's the, you know, the van look like? Is it stacked with, like, chicks and beer and we drive for the next 8 hours to the next place? I mean, that's what I picture it being for you guys.
The van, I'll tell you this, the van is vacuumed out by me before we go out. It's my van. It's my trailer. It's a 12-passenger Chevy van, 17-foot trailer. It has coolers and suitcases, and I don't like cigarettes, so no one's allowed to smoke in my van. I collapsed my lung when I was 20, almost died because my aunt, when I ran away, I lived with my aunt, and she smoked every day, and I blew up my lung, basically.
Yeah.
And they thought I smoked when I went to the hospital. And I'm like, no, I don't smoke, but my aunt smoked, so I might as well have been a smoker. I lived with her. So no cigarettes, no marijuana, no fucking drugs, no drunks. I won't tolerate druggies or alcoholics or any kind of substance dependence. If I'm not doing it, you're not doing it. So our van is fucking boring. Our green room is boring. We sleep. We play a video game on the phone. We bullshit. I'll have a beer or two, but there is no drunk on the stage. You are not allowed to play inebriated. You are not allowed to play fucked up out of your head. Matter of fact, you won't even be in the band if you're a smoker, if you're a drug addict, or you have to have 2 or 3 beers to get out of bed in the morning. I'm not having it. I'm not put up with that bullshit.
How hard did that make it to find guys?
How do I find guys?
No, how hard did that make it to find guys?
Very hard. My father even told me, he goes, well, then you're going to play by yourself. When I was a kid, when I was putting Antithesis together, I told him, I'm not going to put up with any of that crap. And he goes, well, you'll be playing by yourself. So it took me a long time to find the members of Antithesis even. But every one of those guys was sober. You know, that's just it. I mean, you've heard the music. It was crazy. It's too hard to play that stuff sober. How are you going to play it screwed up? Yeah. So, you know, I put the same thing towards this. It's like, this is a job and I pay you very well. You don't go to the job, you know, you're a truck driver or if you're a heavy equipment operator, or if you're an IT professional, you don't go to that job fucked up, drinking beers while you're working, smoking dope and all this bullshit. I just, it's not for me. You're not going to be a really successful guy if you're wasting your time every day getting fucked out of your head. So I don't want it around me. I'm too weak-minded of a person to have negativity and people that are going nowhere in their lives. It can't be around me because I'm too impressionable. I have to, like, I watch positive oriented videos on YouTube. I watch nutritional video all the time. If you ask my wife, she will be like, oh my God, he's always sending me these stupid nutritional videos. And like, I love it. I love working out. I love playing in the band. And I just, that my life is about bettering myself.
Well, if she doesn't like those nutritional videos, maybe you should send them to me and Chris. Because it's pretty obvious that we could probably use those. So.
I have no problem with it, man, because our nutrition in America is nothing but poison. Everything we eat is designed to make us sick, is how I look at it. And then you get wrapped up in the whole healthcare system, and they got you. And I will say this one thing, politically oriented, but not left or right. Transgender, the reason they are pushing it so hard in the medical community is because of big pharma. Once you get transgender, you're never off the drugs, and they fucking love it because it's multi-billion-dollar business. So I'm against it. They could fix cancer, they could fix diabetes, they could fix dementia. All kinds of things could be fixed with diet, but diet is cheap. Drugs are expensive, and that's how people get more and more money, is they loop you into that drug market. So if people are wondering, like, why would they push this? There's only two genders, or whatever they want to say that their argument is for transgender. I'm telling you right now, it's never going away, just like climate, because there is billions of dollars in both of those industries. And it's an industry now. It's not about your health. They don't give two shits about your health. What they care about is managing your decline.
Right.
Managing it is more profitable than curing anything.
I'm not going to get political on you, but they do the same thing with the damn vaccines, too. Take 400 vaccines, and we'll make billions of dollars.
And don't worry, the side effects, we've got a pill for that, too. We got another vax for that.
That's right.
Forget about it.
It's all about money.
Right. And money equals the power.
That's right.
It. That's exactly it.
That's right.
Well, dude, talk a little bit about this, the show coming up here on Rock on the River, September 13th.
Oh, yeah.
Does that... I'm curious because and like you said at the beginning, me and you have known each other kind of in passing for a long time, 30 years or whatever, I think at this point.
There,
Is it exciting to come back here? I know you were never, there was the rah-rah guys in the scene that you came up in, and then there was your band, which was not in that rah-rah Cleveland, I played the Odeon tonight. You guys weren't one of those bands. You guys always came, you did your business, and you got the fuck out. Is it a rah-rah thing for you to be playing such a big event? Like, Rockin' On The River is a big event.
Well, I'm all about exposure.
Okay.
If you're going to do this and you're going to sacrifice your life, then you might as well be as successful as you possibly can. Whatever it is. I don't care if it's IT or music or whatever. I don't care. So those two areas is where it was relevant to me. It was IT and the music business. But as far as rah-rah stuff, I mean, I'm bringing the same show to these masses. Mm-hmm. We've played Rockin' On The River for, I think, 4 or 5 years. Yeah. He's done. Our show, Bob Early, is done. He's retiring, and he's keeping the name. He's not selling the name. It's going with him. So Rockin' On The River is over with September 13th.
Oh, wow.
He told me there's going to be, I believe, a senator or senators coming to this event. There's going to be political figures. There's going to be celebrity people. Because I actually had another show offer maybe 15 miles away a week before his, and he called me up and personally was like, please don't do that show. I need you guys there. And I'm like, Bob, we've been friends for years. I'm not going to screw you over on this. I just wondered. The guy told me it was East Cleveland, but when I looked it up on the map, I'm like, no, this is not East Cleveland. This is over in the West End.
Right.
And so I talked to Bob, and he said, please don't do it. If it was on the east side, I wouldn't care, but this is too close. And I said, no problem. So for this show, I mean, it's his send off. It's his culmination of being a radio disc jockey,
Right.
down in Akron where I'm living currently, and all of the years of doing Rockin On The River in Cuyahoga Falls, and now up there in Black River Landing. So I'm like, we're going to give you a good send off. And last year I even asked him, I said, why do you put us at the end of the season each year?
Right.
Because we could easily get 10, 12, 15,000 people if you put it in the middle of like July, August.
Sure.
And he leveled with me and he says, there is not one other band that will draw the way you guys do at the end of my season. He goes, I have to have you at the end of the season so that we do well. And I said, well, that's a compliment. I'll take it and we'll do you proud. So he's very excited about this last show. And so are we, we've played in front of 7,000 people. And one of the highlights of that was I did get my father out on that stage in front of all those people.
Right.
And my dad was he's the only reason why I ever even got into music, was I wanted to be just like my dad when I was a kid. When I saw him playing his drums and singing it, he was in a band called Motley Crue, EW, at the end of theirs. But it was called The Motley Crue, back when he was a young guy. And I got to see him do that before he stopped playing. But he was, Ford Motor Company auto worker. But I thought there's not one drummer in this world that's better than my dad. So I was really influenced by him, and I really wanted him to be proud. And when I started getting these big gigs, I put him up on House of Blues Cleveland stage. I put him up on the MGM Grand stage, and I finally got him up on Rockin On The River.
Nice.
I think it was last year or the year before that. It was 7,000 people in front of us, and he about crapped himself. And he's like, how do you do this? How do you play in front of all these people just staring at you? I mean, you're the front guy even, so it's like all eyes on you. And I said, well, you told me don't ever half-ass anything. So,
right.
This is what I do now. I'm a musician. I'm a professionally touring musician. We draw bigger crowds than a lot of the nationals that I grew up listening to.
Sure.
Which is crazy, very crazy. We don't brag about it. We hear about it. I'm in the industry. I'm very connected with a lot of big time names. If people saw my phone, they would shit themselves with the people I could just
Right.
call. But I don't bother them. I just, you walk in the same circles, you start meeting the same people that, Joey DeMaio is one of my friends. Joey Belladonna is one of my friends. Everybody knows Tim Owens, so I don't really, that's not really
that don't count
around here anyway. Everybody knows Tim. Everybody loves Tim, but I wasn't really that much of a friend of his until after the Judas Priest stuff,
Sure.
But everybody I run into is like, oh yeah, that's Tim, and so. But when you get outside of our area, Cleveland, Akron, people are like, Tim Owens. I'm like,
right.
yeah, I was at his bar all the time. Him and Micah, just hanging out and bullshit. One time I ignored him when I walked past him. He punched me right in the kidney. He's like, hey, man, I'm sitting right here. I was like, oh, I didn't see you because of that stupid hat you're wearing all the time. He's a good dude, though. I loved him. Great guy.
Yeah, he is.
But yeah, this show, Rockin On The River, we're going to be at Goodyear Theater November 2nd. We're going to be at the local in Strongsville October 18th, I think it is, or 19th. Let me look at my calendar real quick. So we're actually playing the 19th. We'll be at the local in Strongsville. So I'm actually giving Cleveland area, Cleveland, Akron, a little dose more than I've usually. Usually it's once a year.
Sure.
And I'm out on the road. I had no interest in playing Cleveland or Akron for years because it's like, this is my backyard. No one's impressed. Everybody knows me. A lot of people
Everybody wants free tickets.
That's another thing. Yeah, I had a lot of people hit me up for tickets. And then back in the day, it used to be the House of Blues would give me 1,000 tickets. Just pass them out. Now, almost all those tickets are sold. But that's a lot of promotions. I put hundreds of dollars into the ads that we run, and people are like, well, why would you do that, Mike? Because, if you're building a business, you have to market. I don't put the money in my pocket. We don't drink it at the shows. It's an investment. So I take this very seriously and a lot differently than a lot of bands take their band. You know, they don't want to invest it. Like my old members, they didn't want to invest in it. So I bought all the everything you see on stage, almost everything you see is mine. I bought it over the years because I was just like, this is an investment. People come to the show and they should be wowed, even with the stuff we have on stage. So yeah, Rockin On The River, I'll have 20 cabinets on stage. It's for the fans. We're not plugging them all in. They all work. None of them are fake, but
Right.
you know, I'd want people to look at that stage and go, holy shit, who the fuck is this? You know? So it's just, we're hungry. Just like the old Metallica stuff back in the 80s, you know, they were hungry.
Right.
I'm still hungry. I've been doing this almost 20 years and I'm hungry.
Right on.
What do you think of the new music, the new stuff that Metallica? I mean, I know the old stuff is the best. Like, what do you think about the new stuff Metallica's putting out?
They're trying to get back to what they used to do. I can't fault them for that. You know, okay. So the Black Album came out in 91. I was 16.
Right.
I wasn't upset because it was still pretty heavy. I love the
For
Black
the time,
Album.
it was very heavy.
Very heavy, but it got on the radio, which was unheard of for Metallica.
Yeah.
And we were always like, holy shit, Metallica's on the radio, right? Well, I was a thrash metal guy, you know. I was only 16 years old. My brother took me to that concert that year at Richfield Coliseum before it got torn down. What a shame. But we went there. We were behind the stage, way up in the nosebleeds. And it was the most phenomenal concert I've ever been to. Now, my first concert was AC/DC, and that blew my fucking mind at the Richfield as well during the Blow Up Your Video tour.
Okay.
But when I saw the Metallica concert and how just gruff and pissed off they were and fuck the world type of attitudes, you know, James is spitting beer into the crowd. Hey, what's up, motherfuckers? You know, and I'm like, oh my God, this is the fight fucking band of my life.
Yep.
This is what you embody yourself as any musician in my world. In my head, I thought this is what you want to be. This is the kind of band you want to be. So I took that experience and said, I want to do antithesis like that. You know, so we played our shows and I headbanged my ass off as much as I could. Same thing applies to this band. When we're out there, I'm not going to stand there with my thumb up my ass. We don't just headbang. Like, I'll see a lot of bands like doing this stuff. I'm like, yeah, okay. And people are like, oh, they're headbang. That's not a headbang.
Right.
When your head conks off of your guitar's neck or you gut yourself with your guitar because you're doing a body bang.
Right.
Like, my torso is the headbang. and hair's flying. And it's like every fucking song. People are like, how do you keep up 2.5 hours of headbanging every fucking song like your life depended on it? I'm like, I go to the gym and I eat right and I love what I do. There's emotion behind it. I'm not doing this just for some money. I'm doing this because this makes my heart sing. That's the difference. A lot of guys just do it because it's beer money.
Right.
I don't do it then.
Yeah.
If you're going to half-ass the songs, if you're going to get up there with your khakis and your music stand with your lyrics, don't expect people to clap and don't expect people to pay to see you. And you're slopping through the material.
Right.
We live it. We love it. We own it. We do play it like we wrote it. How else would you play it if you're a tribute? If you're honoring somebody else's music, the best thing you can do is play it like the album.
Right.
And give it the aggressiveness that it deserves. So that's what we're doing. As far as the new music, to answer your question about that, I get myself in trouble when I open my mouth. I'm glad that they went back to being a heavy band.
I agree with that.
It's better to hear them trying to get back to their roots and what made them great.
Yeah.
But my heart is stuck in the 80s. I feel like Kill 'Em All through the Black Album is where it really made my heart sing.
Sure.
When they cut their hair off, they put eyeliner on and they started painting their nails, I was upset.
Yeah,
Me too. I was upset.
Me too.
And, I bought Load because Lars was touting it as the heaviest thing that they had ever done. And when I heard James singing like a cowboy,
Yeah, Low Man's
I
Lyric or
took
whatever.
I literally took the CD out of my 5 carousel player and I whipped it behind me so hard that it hit one of my poles in my basement and shattered. So my brother came over for my birthday a little later on that year with the cassette load. Like, hey man, I know you love Metallica, and here I bought this for your birthday. And I looked at it and I said, if you don't want to see this in a million pieces, take it. Because it upset me. I was very upset. Like I said, this music saved my life. So when they changed that music, I was still a kid. I was only 21 years old when that was released. It was like, or 20. What was it? It was 4 years after the blackout. It was
5 years.
It was 5.
96.
It was 96. So you're talking, I went to the Black Album concert where most of it was old school stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I see them cut their fucking hair off and wear, might as well have lipstick on and shit. Like, you guys made fun of Motley Crue looking like chicks, and what are you doing with eyeliner on and nail polish?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I was pissed. I'm like, no,
Dude.
fuck that. I'm out. I
Dude.
found Lamb of God, and I went back
got-
to Pantera and just went really heavy.
Sure.
I love the heavy stuff. I'm still a metalhead. I love classic rock, hard rock, and metal.
Sure. Dude, I remember when they did that, and to me, the music is whatever. I just wrote it off. I remember when I got Load, and I was like, oh, what is this? I just was like,
I think
it does have a couple good songs. I mean, I think Bleeding Me is a phenomenal song.
You're right.
You know,
as a man now, as I was a kid then, I was pissed. As a man now that's almost 50 years old, I listen to that stuff and I'm like, this is a good hard rock
song.
Metal, or not metal, but a hard rock album, right? Like I can listen to it and say, don't think of this as Metallica, just listen to it for what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I can listen to it. Bleeding Me's got a great chorus line. Love that chorus.
Yeah, it does. But
Until It Sleeps, I like that song.
you can have that one.
Yeah.
I like the chorus line. The chorus line where it gets heavy, I like that. The video, no.
Yeah,
No.
I know. Not good.
Oh God!
And the Marianne Faithful stuff, and no. But
and the cover art, no.
Yeah, just awful. But
that was horrible.
Yeah,
I have other words for it, but I won't say it.
Here's where they lost me, man, and we'll wrap this up in a minute. But I've seen Metallica, the actual Metallica, 3 times. I've seen them. I literally moved back here from California. I sent my wife and kid 2 weeks ahead because there was 3 Metallica dates that I could catch on the drive back. I mean, that's how much I was crazy.
Awesome.
And that was on the Black Album. And, I went and I sat in the snake pit. And, I'm like you, Metallica freak. When they got to Load, all of a sudden, musically, I wouldn't have cared if they still killed live. But I went to see them when they played, and I still remember it like it was Metallica, Days in the New, and Jerry Cantrell at Blossom. And they went there like, hey, who wants to hear some old shit? Who wants to hear the old shit? And I was like, yeah, finally. After playing just this almost all Black Album and Load stuff. So they get everybody cheering. They bring out stools and acoustic guitars and did an acoustic medley of Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning tunes. And I was like, I'm done. I'm done, because it was like, what happened? And then, and I'm sure you're aware of this now, and you don't have to comment on this, but I hope your band never goes to the hello friends and glad to have our friends from Metallica with you. And I miss the old days where James would see one guy sitting down in section 599, and he would point to that guy and be like, listen, motherfucker, if you don't get up, I'm walking off the stage. I loved that. There was something about Metallica in that day. You were part of the show. And if you weren't doing your part, it was like Lars playing with one stick. It was... They expected that. And that's what I like about what you're doing with your tribute is you're bringing it with that ferocity, with that energy, which is great.
It's people, like I said, people deserve a show. I want people to be engaged. And I hope people understand that this is a show. All right. I say some things on the microphone and I don't give a shit if you're offended. We go all over the country here, and there's kids at our show. People I love it. I love when they bring their kids out to the shows, and there's so many moms and dads that bring their kids up. Like, this is his first show. you know, and I'll look out in the crowd and be like, hey man, how old are you? And there'll be a little, you know, 12 or a 10-year-old sitting on the gate right in the front.
Right.
And they say, I'm 10. And, you know, and I'm like, I look and I was like, is that your mom right behind you? And she's smiling. She's like, yeah, it's my kid. And I'm like, that's so great. I'm so glad you brought your fucking kid here so I could teach him how to swear. And they, you know, the people are laughing their asses off and stuff. And I'm like, don't worry. Your kid already knows all these words and says it when they're at school. So we make a joke out of it. And I've only had one person ever get offended. And of course they were from New York, but it was years ago. And it said something. I said something like, "Oh, we're gonna play one for the ladies now," and I think we played Enter Sandman. And she got offended at the end of the night. We're tearing down, and this lady comes up to me and said, "You know, I was offended that you said that song was for women." You know, and I was like, "Well, tough shit. I don't care." I did. I told her, I was like, "I don't give a shit what you think. We're the show. If you don't like the show, don't come."
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to change my show because you were offended. Grow some thicker skin.
That's right.
So, you know, but yeah, we are not going to. I don't like the live show that they do.
Now, yeah.
You know, like people are like, well, you know, you're not doing it the way they do it live. I'm like, I don't care how they do it live. I don't study their live show. I study their albums.
Yeah.
So when we're doing it, I do whatever I feel like in the moment. I never know what the fuck I'm going to say when I go up to the microphone. So it's like, well, if you're bringing your kids out, you're getting a 86 through 89 experience of what Metallica used to be like, because they're not going to say on the microphone, "What's up, motherfuckers?" They're never going to say that again.
Never again,
because there is so much corporate money behind that band.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to piss off the people that, you know, puppet master what's going on in the background. They've got tons of companies that they probably own, you know, the all within my hands thing, and they have to be politically correct. And I'm not. I'm just some fucking broke dude.
Well, and they weren't either. I mean,
no, they weren't.
They weren't.
Not be, and they didn't give two shits. And they were vulgar a little bit, and they were funny, and it was just a good time, you know. I mean, look at the old pictures of James. He's always got a fucking beer in his hand.
Oh yeah,
always.
The alcoholic days.
It was fun, you know, the Heinekens and stuff like this. So I'm like, I want to bring back that dirty, raw, aggressive feel that they used to have. Not just play the songs, but embody that. You know, I wear a real 7.62 bullet belt. It's like 10 pounds. It's full of dirt. You know, I wear skin tight fucking chick pants. You know, we sweat our fucking asses off doing this stuff. And I bought the Lars kit that he used to play on I think it was on the Black Album tour with the big 4 toms and the 4 toms, 2 hi-hats. I mean, we're trying to bring it back. So like it's all the cabinets and it's a big banner in the back, and just give people what they'll never see again. You will never see Metallica pissed off. Even James has said in interviews, well, I used to be angry and pissed off, and that's the way I wrote the way I wrote. Well, now I'm not angry and pissed off anymore. I'm like, well, and that's why it's not the way it is anymore.
That's right.
You know, he makes a lot of fucking money, even after the divorce. You know, the dude's 100-some millionaire, a few hundred millionaire, I should say, him and Lars. And it's like, well, they've changed, you know, and then you get the live thing where Trujillo and Hammett were picking a song and doing it on their own, and people are like, what the fuck are you doing?
We got Michael Stanley here. We got Michael Stanley, This Is My Town here the last time they did it. I was like,
they did that?
Yes.
Yeah, why?
It was cringe. It was so cringy.
People pay so much. I mean, look, I'm not going to bust on what the ticket prices are. I'm just going to tell, as a fan of Metallica, I'm not going and spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars to see that crap. I don't want to see your representation of what you thought a Celtic Frost song should sound like. That dude don't like you guys anyway. Don't do his music. But like Michael Stanley, I don't want to hear that. I want to hear fucking No Remorse or Metal Militia or do something heavy, you know, that you did, or You Man My Evil, Blitzkrieg.
Dude, that was my biggest bitch, was they spent 15 minutes with them two noodling around, and you know,
and you're getting 16 songs and they're done.
Yeah,
they're done. But you know, we do like 20, 22 songs and we're done. I want to give people at least 2 albums of Metallica.
Yeah,
you know, they won't do that, and they don't have to do that. They're Metallica. People are going to buy the ticket anyway. But guys like us, it's like I'm more of old school purist, I guess you would call it. And I don't want to see that stuff. I don't want to hear anything off of Lulu or Stanger or 72. No, just give me the old stuff, man. Give me the old, get pissed off, put a wig on and pretend you're back, and you're broke.
Right.
And you just got out of the van and your back is hurting and your legs are numb and you got fucking 3 beers in you and let's go. Let's just get down raw, dirty, and aggressive. That's our show. So I hope people can appreciate that. We don't, the only thing we don't do is get drunk before the shows or do any coke or any of that bullshit.
Right.
We want to do it absolutely like the album. There's a couple dynamics that I will add as long, like harmonies on some stuff that we'll do. But other than that, I want it to be the album for people, and I want people to have a kick-ass show with us. That's what it's all about.
Well, that's what we're looking forward to. Rockin On The River coming up. And is there a website you guys have where you can buy merch and check out the shows and all that?
Yeah, it's www.fourhorses.me. That's the word 4, not the number 4. So it's FOURHORSES.me. So fourhorses.me. And you can get us on our Facebook there and our Instagram. And I've got a link tree I can send you guys as well. But I mean, the gist of it is Facebook, website, Instagram. Other than that, it's just like Bands in Town where we'll have our schedule. And our schedule ports right over to the website. So if you're looking at the website, you're seeing everything that's on Bands in Town anyway.
Well, I know that you didn't want to come back to Cleveland for a while, but I'm happy that you're here. I'm looking forward to seeing some of those shows. I live right by the local, so I'm looking forward to checking out that show.
Oh, okay, yeah. Where are you at now, Chris?
Twinsburg.
Twinsburg. Oh, okay. Yeah. We'll probably be there next year for that Twinsburg one. They do us like every other year.
That'd be cool. Well, I'll see you September 13th. I'm coming to see the big show, dude. Hell yeah.
Well, if you guys are coming out, let me know.
We need the free tickets that we talked about that you don't want to give us.
The free tickets.
Hey, you know what the funny thing is about the free tickets before we go?
Yeah.
My dad just passed away in April. He came to every Antithesis show.
Right.
Because they were always in Cleveland. Mm-hmm. We never toured really. And he came to every Horseman show that was in Cleveland. And he never told me. He always paid at the door.
Nice.
And then my wife would bring him side stage and he would, just ear to ear grinning, loving it.
It's awesome.
So when people ask me for free tickets, I said, go ask my dad. If my dad got it for free, you can get in for free.
That's right.
Because my dad understood. And he's like, no, you need to support the band. Everybody. Even my family would come out. Like, well, how do we get in? My dad was like, buy a fucking ticket. That's how you get in. Exactly. It's my son up there on stage and he needs to get paid.
Right.
So, let me know if you guys are coming out, man. We'll hang beforehand.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one more time, it is September the 13th on Rockin On The River. It is the Four Horsemen. And Sean, thanks so much for joining us here
on
the Seth Williams
Thanks
Show.
for having me, guys.
All right, bro.
Thank
take
you.
care. This episode of the CMS Network is brought to you by our sponsor, Blackout Coffee. If you are a coffee lover, you will love what they are selling over at Blackout Coffee. Make sure you get yourself some. The only thing woke about this company is the drinker of the coffee because it gives you quite a jolt. I am a personal fan of the Brutal Awakening Dark Roast, but everybody's a little bit different. Make sure you get what is your favorite today. go to blackoutcoffee.com. Use the promo code CHRIA20 to save 20% on your first order. It's that simple. So one more time, blackoutcoffee.com. That is the link, or use the full link if you're going to shop around that is scrolling on the bottom, and get yourself some of the best coffee that is out there today. blackoutcoffee.com.